So, in the following article, the human and the conflict of interest, um, we also watching the poem, which was before nominated under the name Slovenian Ring, with the idea to present the art, the particular of the Slovenians country. And here we back to the names which since years with the old Russian language, which is half similar of the today, or the roots of the words are often still the same, and then could be the same, but since pure reformation, the logic to way that it developed to fulfill the language, because some some part we taking from Greek language, some part from Latin language, and so here the idea, the logic, the arithmetic, mathematic of the things is by runes present. So runes and the numbers, and the few examples in the article to see to the beginning of the 20th century, the Reformation and the favor to the Soviet state, but we always can say the idea previously could be absolutely different, because we see a lot of things and a lot of German names, and so the idea, as we know that previously the history, even after Peter the Great, or even before Peter, we had the Vikings, that was by Baltic, then so after the Peter the Great, we also see the father, the brother of Nikolai, and Nikolai himself, the Nikolai II, the Tsar of Russia, the holy person. So in that sense, for the church, the big one, the one, and those marriages with German, Austrian, the German woman, and previously Peter the Great and Ekaterina, the German princess, and then Tsaritsa, like the Tsar wife of Tsar, the ruler, the imperator, imperatrice, and so the idea in the art, to watch the art what was translated with the tradition, so we don't see the Christian and this Orthodox that we are habituated to hear today, that is following the Christian idea anyway, but here we talking about that from the wording, from the what is written, the calligraphy. So we see that symbols are simplified, not in the way of choreography, not in the way of the shape, but of the way of using. They are more simple than respect to the Chinese, respect to the other examples that we can see, the Georgian, so, and we see this idea, they make us to mistake that they from some part of maybe Jewish, maybe some Christian Rome church, that we see the Armenia. They always, we go to the metropolitan, we find some in the in the hierarchy of the present Slovenian stuff, we see at the middle always this Armenia, and they have the alphabet, which is the end. In Armenian alphabet, we have this kappa, the K, like a last letter, and the Chris, it follows this letter, but it's some other point to see it's not from this side. It's today we watched it like from the Black Sea coast, but it's the other side. Here we absolutely different tradition have. This is not any Christian tradition in this Catholic way. So Orthodox, we see like by the name, it's not Orthodox in Russian. So Orthodox, we see like by the name, it's not Orthodox in Russian for the church using it's using Pravoslavное, Slovenian Pravoslavное Slovo, which is a translation is world. So Slovo, Slovenia, Slovo, world. We have some nation, some language, territory, linguistic, geography, and this is Slovenian seeing around the root, the meaning, the word, Slovo, and the Slovenia as a nation, and the nation is tradition, and the nation is a symbols, and we here have and the symbols in the culture, and like biggest part, the bigger part, and the present in the politica, which is far from the Catholic Church, if not the opposite. But we cannot say it opposite because it is under the Christ name anyway, geography. And this part, that's why the roots is from part of Russia, but Slovenia is here in Europe. But it's because of the Russian forces of the face. And by the mini rule, we always appeal to the runes, which is connected with old Russian language, runes, Slovenian language. This the name of the god Odin in the Russian language. One is Odin, and the god present in the Viking system lives had the name Odin. So one is Odin, and the god name is Odin. And we always have the same symbolic and letters, like in English it's vocabulary. You have vocal vocabulary, so the sounds, and this is azbuka, ABC azbuka, and zvuk, the sound zvuk, and the B and V, and the same look like. So also some arithmetic that is example is written present, but already written is labor of some of the Russian scientists, and then present also very interesting to know. But here we're speaking about lingua geography and the Slovenian roots and the Slovenic symbols, and this reformation that came before Second World War, and it is the reason to fight with Russian roots, because they call Soviet people and different republics, what mean republics? One thing is Ukraine and Russia, which is the same, and Belarus, and it's the same. And the other things, if we take Asia, which is close to China, or we took some Armenia, which is near the Georgia, and it's in the Muslim area, and this is different. And this is different. And here it is the same. So republic and the nation, different nation with a completely opposite beliefs, or not opposite, but different. There are big difference inside. So when we see Russian Empire and the Soviet Union, we see Russian Empire as a Russian symbol and the Slovenian thing. And the Soviet Union, we see like Sovietic identity, the culture which came from the million numbers of the name of the red or the revolution, and this is a very square. And the Soviet Union, we see Russian Empire as a Russian symbol and the Slovenian thing. And the Soviet Union, we see like Sovietic identity, the culture which is came from the million numbers of the name of the red or the revolution, and this is a very squared letters and different letters. And so for the designer, for example, they to swatch this alphabet, the alphabet that remain after the first war, is nothing to take for one designer to create on the calligraphy, to watch, to present something that is empty scenes, totally empty. And if we're talking about the meaning and the face, then the meaning of the letters was also very different. If you see E like I or E like elephant, so that is two different signs and different reason to point the same sound, but present in the different shape of the letter. Mean one is a good thing, another is bad thing, because it has so itself numbers of the. So it depends on who reads this word. Shape of the letter mean one is a good thing, another is bad thing, because it has so itself numbers of the. So it depends on who reads this word for, and the logic to memorize how you will write this letter or other letter is completely different. And so this became a total mix in the Soviet Union time. So we have at least 2 points here towards the identity as a culture, and the second is a Russian as a buzz and as a heart and as a whole thing, to the favor to be identical anyone, Russian is or not, under the name of a Soviet person who has like Russian, not Russian, they all the same. In that sense, the equality here is a minus, because it is arm, just a word to spell, to make some not only culture to lose, but identity. To the favor to be identical anyone, Russian is or not, under the name of a Soviet person who has like Russian, not Russian, they all the same. In that sense, the equality here is a minus, because it is arm, just a word to spell, to make some not only culture to lose, but identity. And so this is a volume topic to see and hear the few words about.